Hello! Thanks for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing the Nubia Neo 2 5G, an economic device for gamers. Let's get started. You heard it right, this is a device for gamers. In fact, in its box also gives us samples of it with gamepad and with a design also very attractive for gamers. For those who do not know, Nubia is a sub-brand of ZTE like Red Magic. So Red Magic and Nubia are sisters and therefore could come to share some technologies. It is interesting to know the proposal that they will offer us in this economic device, since its launch price in Mexico has been $5,499. On the screen you can see the reference price in dollars, so you have more or less an idea, but remember that the prices here are not the same as there. So what do you think if you join me to take this device out of its box to get to know it? And the first thing we are going to find will be this envelope containing the key to remove the SIM card tray, something that is included in all devices, although curiously in this case comes enclosed in a pouch. It seems to me just a little unnecessary information, but there it is. We will also find this envelope of Nubia VIP, which seems strange because I thought that Nubia only included this type of feature in its most premium devices, but it seems that no. It seems that with any device you buy from Nubia, you will be able to contact the technical service directly. What else are we going to find? Here is a quick guide. There is not much information here, but if you want to read it, you can do it. And finally, we will also find a case. An addition that seems to me very good, since being a relatively new brand, at least in Mexico, it will be difficult to find a different case for your device. So it's good that from the box we include this level of protection. As you realize, it has a very interesting matte effect that will surely give a very nice touch to the device. Note also that it is a semi-rigid case that also comes with very reinforced corners, although it does not protect much from the sides. And you may wonder, why is this? Well, because the device has touch triggers. If you remember well, Red Magic devices have this kind of features, so you can program these triggers to execute a touch button action. Then you gain a lot of gaming features. This is what we have over here. Let's take the device out of its box so we can get to know it. And here it is. Watch, before we remove this protective plastic, let's take a look at the features that the manufacturer wants to highlight from this device. Notice that it comes with programmable triggers for gaming, which is what I was telling you about a moment ago. It also includes the GameSpace 2 0 Point, which would be a compilation of games at the software level with various tools. In a moment, we see if you share it with Red Magic or it's a different experience. And lastly, let's look at the 33-watt charge, which I think at this price point is very good. And look, here we have the device in our hands. It definitely has a very attractive design, very striking for gamers. It has a lot of typography, a lot of decoration. In this case, there is even an area that gives the impression of suddenly being a fan or to be an eye. I do not know what impression it gives you, but obviously all this is aesthetic. It does not have any special relief. The cover is completely smooth. It even brings the appearance of some perforations, but they are not vents or speakers or absolutely nothing. It is only decoration, but it makes the device look very attractive. Let's see what else is here in the box. And as you can see, surprisingly, the cable is from USB-C to USB-C. I say surprised because in this price range, most manufacturers incorporate cables from USB-A to USB-C, but in this case, we already have the most modern experience. This is something I personally like. Although maybe some people are annoyed because they already have a lot of accessories with USB-A. I don't know, I just put the topic on the table for you in the comments to tell me if you like or don't like that this device includes a cable from USB-C to USB-C. I love it. And I love the charger too because it is quite compact. It will give good power. Although you know that in the video review we will do a specific analysis of how long it takes to charge this device and how is its battery life. For now, let me put all this content back in storage. And I remind you that I find it very curious that both ZTE and Nubia have this tendency to put boxes inside boxes. Personally, it is something that I do not like very much, but it is the way in which they decide to store their devices. Let's finish putting away all the contents of the box and continue to take a look at the cell phone. It has a screen of 6.72 inches in its diagonal with full HD plus resolution 120Hz and is an IPS panel. It is a screen that we could say that gives us a simple viewing experience because the viewing angles are not so good. Although seeing the content from the front it is well, obviously the highlight of the screen it will be that reaches 120Hz. So for gamers who want to enjoy of all these fluid movements, it could result as something attractive, although let's face it, few games today are able to reach 120Hz, but this device has these capabilities in your screen. In fact, it will be adjusting between 60 and 120, and you can also enable the option to see that refresh rate in the notification bar. Although personally I like to disable this option. We find a speaker at the bottom and another speaker at the top in the earpiece for calls, so it does have stereo sound. Obviously, it is a sound that will not offer us an exaggeratedly high quality, but for the price range competes well, having this feature. The front camera is 16 megapixels with aperture f2.0 and fixed focus. As usual, here I have the screenshot before taking the picture. So you can see that being in backlight, the area of lights comes out completely burned, but after taking the picture, it makes a good processing, balancing well lights and shadows. Then, the front camera, I think it will have a positive behavior within its price range. And in the back, we find main camera of 50 megapixels with aperture f1.0 and autofocus, and the camera of depth of 2 megapixels with aperture f2.4 and fixed focus. Obviously, the camera that will really serve will be the 50 megapixels. Since the camera of depth, I would consider it more as a camera of adornment or decoration because I do not think it is too useful. Observe, here I took a photograph with the 50 megapixel mode so that we can try to appreciate the detail that it is capable of obtaining, and I believe that if it gives us photos with sufficient resolution and detail to be able to make a subsequent crop of the photograph, then we have a positive result in this aspect. Here I took the picture with the main camera in a more or less backlit condition, and if it gives an excellent result, in fact applying the zoom 2x still seems to me that maintains a good quality in the result, and also took a picture with zoom 5x and even 10x, and I think this is one of the devices that if you get to take advantage of its 50 megapixel sensor, unlike other devices I've seen with similar sensors but that do not get to have a good quality in the zoom. Fortunately, this seems that if you get to give us a good quality in that section, but in portraits I think if it is left owing a little notes. That the depth camera was not able to detect well all areas of the foreground, having several corners out of focus, then we do not have such a high quality in that section. In addition, the colors seem to be a little paler than we would like. The video recording of this device can be up to full HD at 30 frames per second. There is no surprise in this section. Let's say that it is basic. The battery will be 5200 milliamps with a support for charging 33 watts included in the box. Then the capacity of the battery, if it is above the average of its rivals that usually stay in 5000 milliamps, this offers a larger battery, a good charge, and something curious is that it includes this feature called charge separation, with which you could make the device send the charger power directly to the processor without going through the battery, and thus you can have less heat when playing. So it is a feature that usually comes in some gaming devices. Also has 8 gigabytes of RAM plus 12 virtual. In fact, lets you configure the extended RAM, or you can also turn it off. In fact, I consider it unnecessary to have 12 gigabytes of RAM extended. I think an excess and often do not get to take advantage, so I would recommend more turn it off, but I will test the device with this option on because it comes by default. The device comes with Android 13 and iOS 13. This is something that I did not like because I would like more that the device came factory updated. So at this time we still have to be waiting for the next update, and we do not even know if it will really receive Android 14. But the storage is good news because it is 256 gigabytes and is also UFS 3.1. This means that it is a fairly fast storage compared to the price range. Then that will be noticed when installing a game or when exporting any video and various activities on the phone. Remember that not everything has to do with the processor when reviewing how is the power in general or performance. And finally, the processor is a Unisoc T820, but let's check more or less a benchmark to see the power it could reach, since Unisoc processors do not usually have a very good reputation, but because Unisoc has manufactured entry-level processors. However, this processor is from the 800 series, so it is the most powerful that currently has Unisoc in its catalog. Let's see what other processor it can be compared with. And here I have the result. 2,352 points in multi-core and 887 points in a single core. That is, with these numbers, it would be above the Snapdragon 695 or above the MediaTek Dimensity 7020, which have been processors that have given us a very good impression for games. So I think this device will have a very good performance, at least that we can go anticipating. But remember that in the video review, we will be doing a more detailed analysis of the power of this device, testing several games, various applications, and exporting video. For now, it has been just a quick look with unboxing, but I hope you really like this video. If so, you know you can indicate it, and we'll see you next time.